Hello guys, trust you are doing good. I'm doing fine. Sorry about that. Okay, so there's this series I started I think 3 or 4 days ago about my salvation story. So this is the continuation of that series. So I stopped at where my friend, talked to me about, not a friend by then, talked to me about Christ and all of that. So immediately after that discussion, I think we prayed together and all of that. So I left the place. So on my way home, I started thinking about what we discussed, a whole lot of things. I started ruminating on the things we talked about, based on the fact that I shared my story when we were having that conversation. I started thinking about it, and he shared his own story with me as well. So I started thinking about those stories, and on getting them, yeah. So I think he talked to me about hearing from God, speaking to God, and all of that. So on getting them, I wanted to hear God. Like I wanted to hear God. I was on getting them. I entered my room, and then I was just praying. I prayed to God, and I think I was telling God, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. So I knelt down, hoping to hear from God. I was quiet. Like I thought that was how I could hear from God. Like I was quiet, and then I was just, I was so quiet, trying to hear God. That's kind of amazing, right? Because immediately after that conversation that day, I thought that was how I could hear from God. I was quiet, expecting to hear from God, but guess what? I didn't hear anything. Why? Because there was no relationship. There was no relationship between me and God then. So, and then when there's no relationship, there will be no communication. It's just like these things are practical, right? And when we look at even relationship that we have, you know, normal relationship, social relationship, romantic relationship, and all of that. If you don't have a relationship with you, there are some certain relationship you will have with some certain people before you can have some conversations with them. And that's how it is with God as well. There are some certain things that God cannot entrust us with when we don't have some certain relationship with Him. And having conversation with God and God telling us some certain things is actually also based on our level of relationship with Him. And we need to be constantly here. We need to be constantly in relationship with God for us to keep hearing from Him. We can't just show up out of the blues and say, "Oh, I want to hear God. I want to do this. I want to." No, our relationship must be deep with God for us to constantly hear. I was thinking about something recently about the Bible that says that draw near to me and I will draw near to you. Like God is God is literally telling us at that verse of the Bible that for you to hear from me, then you must be connected to me. You can't hear from me, or we can't have a kind of communication without there being a kind of relationship between me and you. So it is until we get to that level whereby we are connected to God, that is when we will hear from Him. That is where we hear from Him. And the Bible is saying that, come draw near to me. That is, we need to first of all do the drawing. It has to be with us first off. We need to first of all draw near to God for us to hear from Him. Without drawing near to Him, then there won't be any how He would come to us, because it's like a kind of giving access. God doesn't impose Himself on us. So we need to give Him that access of what? Surrendering ourselves and then going near to Him, that God, this is where I am and this is who I am right now, and I want you to step into my life. I want to have this relationship with you. And relationship with God must be consciously, developed. Must be consciously developed. It's not going to be an easy one, praying to God, trying to hear from God, and all of those things. They don't come easily. It is something that we need to consciously develop. So that night I was just there, quiet. I was so quiet. It was so quiet in my room that day. Like I wanted to hear from God. I was quiet. And I was on my knee, and then my head was on the ground, trying to hear from God, maintaining that positioning of hearing from God. But just like I said earlier, I didn't hear anything. As a matter of fact, I slept off in that position. It was the next morning that I woke up and I was like, what's going on here? And that was because there was no relationship. So for us to um, one thing I want us to learn from this story is actually that for us to constantly hear from God, then we must constantly be in that position of reception and maintaining a close relationship with Him for Him to communicate with us, because there won't be any kind of communication without connection. So thank you so much. Yeah, watch out for the third one. This is the second episode. I wish to see, to hear from you guys. Drop it in the comment section. Where are you watching this video from? Come on. And if you haven't subscribed, probably someone shared this with you. Do that. Subscribe to this channel, like, share it with your friends. Don't enjoy this alone. Let us grow together. Share it with friends. Come on. Yeah, so that's it for today. Bye for now, guys. See you.